Welcome to 3-Minute Retro, and today we're going to cover another Commodore model. This is a Commodore 64G, and it's one of my favourite looking models. It was a machine primarily aimed at the German market. Again, the differences with the original Commodore 64 was its case colour. This was very almost milky white colour with a very pale milky white keyboard, and it also had a green LED. The reason behind this is it was a cost reduced machine, and it brought the price down a lot further than what the original Commodore 64 launch price was at. The reasoning behind this model is because the 64C had been launched, which was in a wedge case format, and it was kind of deemed in Germany that this was the more preferred case, and basically which is why we have a 64G model, which is essentially a 64C in a bread bin case with the same board as the original 64C. Now, there are two different keyboards on this machine. You can get the original black style keyboard or the cream style keyboard, and it all depends on what parts Commodore had in stock at the time. So you might find a few mix and match in terms of aesthetics 64Gs, but this is the one I actually prefer. The difference between this and the Commodore 64 is the SID chip is a 8580 and basically had a few problems with sound sampling and playing sound samples very low, but generally it was quite a compatible sound chip, which, you know, unless you are a dedicated SID chip person, you would probably not really notice unless you had a side-by-side comparison. Some of these machines were also made from 64GS game consoles parts when the console bombed, and most were sold with a game pack. So basically it was a way of Commodore reusing whatever they had to hand. The build quality is said not to be very good. The case does feel quite brittle, but this one's actually escaped it quite well, and it's quite solid. It's never been retro brighted or messed with. This is how it was when I actually took charge of the machine. All of the specs were exactly the same as the Commodore 64C. The CPU was a MOS 8500. It was a HMCS version of the 6510. It was 0.985 megahertz in PAL or 1.023 in NTSC. It had a VIC-2, which was an MCS 8580 SID chip, and it contained 64K of RAM, 20K of ROM. Text modes were exactly the same at 40 by 25 lines. The colours were exactly the same with 16 plus 16 border colours. The resolution and graphics modes were 300 by 200, and it had the same 3 voices and 9 octave and 4 waveforms. And the sound output was generally through RF through the TV. So basically this was a cost reduced parts bin special from Commodore, but it's one of my favourite looking Commodore 64s. This is 3-Minute Retro. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and I'll see you soon. Thank you.